Hi, my name's Jonathan Hicks. I'm back at the Dice Cup, and this evening I'm joined by
Steve. Andy.
And we've just finished playing Kamisado, which is a two-player abstract game with a rather garish board. Now, at the start of the game, all of your pieces sort of line up on one side here, so I was black and they all lined up. So imagine that's there. And whoever goes first can move whichever piece they like, but the colour you land on determines what your opponent moves. If I choose to move this one, I can go as far forwards as I like, or I can go forwards diagonally left or forwards diagonally right. But you have to go forwards a certain number of spaces, up to you how far. So maybe I move this one to here and I land on blue. Now Andy has to move his blue piece, and the same rules apply, so he can move as far as he likes. So maybe he goes to here. Now I have to move my orange piece because he's landed on orange. So here's my orange piece. And we'll keep doing this, and the objective of the game is just to get any one of your pieces to land on your opponent's back row. If you manage to do that, you win. Now, there's a couple of other things. If you block someone in, so if I had a piece here and I landed on an orange one, so that Andy has to move his orange, then in that case he just doesn't, he kind of skips his turn because he can't move it, and then I get to move again, and I would move orange because that's the one that's sort of stuck there. So you can kind of block people in, but there's a lot of to and fro with, you know, the more you move your pieces out, the more spaces you're creating on the back row that they might jump into. So there's quite a lot of forward thinking required for this one. All right, what do we think?
Yeah, forward thinking is definitely the key. You can work out at the end, maybe if you go into that space, your opponent's only got 3 squares they can move into with the piece you like to move, and you might go, well, that's good, and that's good, yeah, brilliant, that's a great move. You might go, that's good, that's bad, and you might pick something different. So it is quite nice. It's not chess-like because you are picking the piece your opponent has to move, and so you can predict what they're going to do much easier in this, and you can think a few turns ahead. If that's a sort of game for you, then you'll love it.
Okay, Andy?
Yeah, I really like this. As Steve said, a lot, and you yourself mentioned, lots of forward thinking needed. Because in the early game, you've sort of like your opponent's quite open, where when after your first few moves, there's still a lot of squares they potentially can move to, and I think you can sort of like by making lots of small moves, possibly hamper yourself a bit more than making sort of like wider sweeping moves, sort of like across the board more. I thought I made a huge mistake by going diagonally with my first move, but I thankfully managed to recover that.
You can force people out of the way.
Yeah.
So if you want him to move a piece off the back row, you just move onto that colour. It might not be great for you, but if his yellow piece is blocking 2 of your pieces trying to win, you just move onto a yellow square and he has to move out of the way. That's very nice.
Yeah. Sort of the idea of it sort of also reminds me of tic-tac-toe game, Mindleaf.
Oh yeah.
Where you're controlling what your opponent does. So with clever plays, you can basically play your opponent's game for them. But yeah, sort of looks like from the rule book there's quite a few different variants of game structure. So yeah, it's good.
Rating?
I'll probably give this probably about 7.5 to an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
I got 7.5.
All right. Yeah, I'm not generally a big fan of abstract games, but I really enjoyed this one. That idea of forcing your opponent to move is not something I've seen before, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed that kind of thought process. As Steve says, it doesn't feel like chess in the same way, although it looks quite like chess. I feel like I'm going through different kinds of thought processes, but it's still the whole thinking ahead. If I do this, then he could do this, but then if I do that, so it does have some similarities, certainly. The only thing I really didn't like is the board, which just looks so garish. But actually thinking about it, I'm not sure they could have done it differently, because you really do need the different colours to stand out, and it's very clear. So from that point of view, the board is very functional, just doesn't look very attractive. But I thought it was a very good abstract game. I think I'd be on 7.5 out of 10. All right, thanks for watching. That was Kamisado.